Seems like it's been only a couple days since I uploaded, but more VR news, it never stops. And in this episode, we're going to talk about a bunch of new games that are coming, things I'm excited for, and at the tail end, we're going to be talking about some VR news and some cool new features that you can look forward to. You're watching Bringhurst VR. Green Hell has been out for quite a while, but if you look at the reviews, it's been plagued with this thing is, why don't we get more updates? And now they're finally bringing a new co-op update to the game. If you haven't played this game is similar to The Forest, in so much as it's a survival thriller, collect resources, fend off enemies. But in truth, I have only played The Forest, for which I really like that game. And it's cool being able to play that VR with other people in flat screen. And this update finally brings a long-promised co-op mode. First announced in April of 2023, Green Hell's VR co-op mode is nearly here, launching December 16th for free to owners of the game on PSVR 2 and Quest 2, 3, and 3S. It reads, the co-op edition is said to build on the game's challenging solo play by allowing teams of up to 4 players who arm themselves with melee or ranged weapons to hunt food or protect each other from the jungle's deadly predators and build shelters to fend off environmental dangers. The studio also says players who need healing will visually appear to need help, even allowing others to spot leeches that need to be plucked off each other. And that comes from Road to VR. If you guys have played this, let me know. I avoided it initially because it seemed like the consensus online was that the developers had abandoned it and that they weren't getting the updates they wanted. And so is this going to resolve most of that? I don't know. I hope so. But now I want to jump into it. If you guys have played this, let me know what you think. And here we have a new game. Stay Forever Home is bringing a lovable little mixed reality canine pal to Quest next year. It reads, indie studio Wind Up Minds have finally announced its long-awaited virtual pet simulator. Stay Forever Home brings a cute little canine friend to Quest in early 2025. And this isn't the first game to do something like this. There are plenty of games that attempt to bring a pet into the fold. Even as we speak, Dino Hab is on the way, and that's meant to be a similar thing. But to my mind, where this thing differs, it reads, the studio says, Stay Forever Home blends AR, VR, and unscripted AI to create a more realistic pet companion that is unique to each player, resulting in what it calls a game that loves you back. Built by a team of veteran VR developers behind Meta's BOGO and First Steps demo, Stay Forever Home centers around Ember, a magical canine pal which lives by your side in mixed reality, but can also take you through a door to a charming virtual reality environment for a walk, game of fetch, treats, and maybe a little mischief. There's no launch date for this, and one could argue that we don't need more AI in our lives. And if I was cynical, I might point out that being in VR cuts us off from society enough as it is, and I love it, but do we need a fake AI pet in VR? I don't know. That's for you to decide. I will say this. The pet in this game looks adorable. I love the animation. I love the interactions. I love the snap of its head. And if you're gonna have a pet in VR, I'm glad it's this. I think this looks pretty cool. And this from Road to VR. A modder is hoping to bring VR support to a massive Fallout London DLC. It says Fallout London is a total conversion mod based on Bethesda's popular Fallout 4 from 2015. While the team behind the mod hasn't mentioned whether potential VR support is in the works, an intrepid modder is taking things into his own hands. As first reported by PC Guide's Charlie Noon, it's still early days for this particular VR mod, which hopes to let PCVR players jump into the post-apocalyptic London as envisioned by the Folon modding team. It's a complete overhaul with custom maps, assets, and even voice acting, all built independently from Bethesda. Raisroth Elnheim, the associated creator behind the VR mod, says on the Fallout London Discord, it's a passion project right now. However, they note they're interested in making it a reality. And so, among you, who's excited for that? Let me know in the comments. Iron Rebellion version 1.0 arrives this week on Quest and Steam. Previously described as a love letter to Titanfall and Hawken, Iron Rebellion is now ready for full release December 12th. Developer Black Beach Studio revealed that the upcoming 1.0 update adds a complete progression system that begins with the easiest to use mechs and weapons. The studio states this should assist newcomers with the onboarding process. Other changes include significant optimizations, leaderboards, and a final round of general polish. And the footage here looks really amazing. Being able to interact with the cockpit like that and the explosions. I'm kind of doubtful that this is standalone footage. I'm excited. I hope it is. I expect that for standalone, this is going to be brought down just a tad. Iron Rebellion is available now in early access on the MetaQuest platform and Steam, and the full release reaches both platforms on December 12th. And from Upload VR, Beyond Blue After the Storm swims onto Quest next month. This is a VR follow-up to the 2020 aquatic narrative adventure. It stars Erika Ishii of Cyberpunk 2077 as the deepwater explorer and scientist, and this adventure sees you exploring an ocean world in standalone VR. You'll aim to uncover what's going on beneath the waves while swimming across these different biomes, interacting with different creatures. They have a targeted launch date somewhere in January 2025. The water effects in this look beautiful, getting kind of a Subnautica vibe. But in this video, there is some hitching and kind of stuttering frame rate. I'm curious if this was actually picked up from within a headset and if they're experiencing performance issues. I hope it runs well. Pre-order it now at a discounted price of $9.99. Now, Real VR Fishing is adding 3 European DLC packs as part of its World Tour Edition update, which comes December 17th. This is on the heels of the news that it's finally coming to Steam VR. Alongside the upcoming World Tour update, PCVR players will have access to the entire library of previously available DLC, including the US West Coast, East Coast, Japan DLC Part 1 and Part 2. The World Tour update will initially reach the MetaQuest platform on the 17th of December, with Steam and Pico following at a later date. Now, Real VR Fishing already looks pretty amazing inside of Quest. I'm curious what they're going to do for PCVR. I wonder how they're going to bump that up. What do you guys think? Let me know. And this is the 3rd time I've talked about pools in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, so forgive me. Last time I had mentioned that pools finally unlocked all their levels for beta VR, and I'll include the link down below for their Discord channel, which is where you need to go if you want to access that beta version via Steam. But the news here is that Pools VR is set to come to PlayStation VR 2 next year. It'll be coming to Steam as well in a full launch. No longer will it be beta. And there's not much more to say about that. If you want to see more about that, I have some past videos. Go check them out. But it's a fantastic game. The sense of dread that it brings to you. No monsters, nothing's trying to get you, but just exploring the halls, the beautiful textures, the water physics. The whole thing is beautifully done. I had a conversation with the creator of this program a month or so ago, and I had proposed there's nothing here that's going to get you. That's not the point. But I thought it would be cool if when you lingered too long in a hallway, on the steps of a staircase, or standing in a shallow pool, to have some kind of a black mass, a kind of frothy, bubbling mass that kind of oozed from the corners of the wall and grew and kind of approached you if you hung out too long. And so it would keep you progressing through the map. It would add another layer of suspense, a reason to keep moving. It would further push the game. He actually thought that was a really cool idea. He said he'd think about it. Now, that's a complete overhaul of like what the game is meant to do, but I think it would fit wonderfully. I hope he does it. And if you guys want to check out the game on beta, I believe the VR version works with their free demo on Steam, so you can check it out now. And this one I'm really excited for. Slot Car VR. It's the first time I'm hearing of it, but it looks fantastic. It's a VR experience where you can build your own slot car tracks, loops, zones that propel you faster. You can build that track through your room using AR. And they've even got people putting the track on the wall and the ceiling, and the car doesn't care about, physics. It's so you can have them go parallel to your wall, sideways. I think the whole thing looks amazing. I'm looking forward to this because slot cars, we all had those growing up, and now they're so expensive. If you want a nice slot car, you want something nice, you got to spend $200 on Amazon. My God, this inflation. But I'm looking forward to this. I can't wait to try it. This is now really like something I'm really looking forward to. It's multiplayer, so if you have 2 headsets in the house, you'd be able to play each other, build some kind of a huge elaborate track, and then you can upload your best time to the world leaderboard. And Madison VR. Madison VR is coming to MetaQuest. This has long been a strictly Steam VR experience. It's from Bloodiest Games, and it's finally bringing psychological horror to standalone. It's brutal. It's rough. It's a cool experience, but it's got me a few times. I did a couple live streams of it, and it just went terribly because I was having trouble with my setup. But it's a great game. It's got some genuine unsettling moments in it. And if you guys are into horror thematics, then you'll want to check it out. And now for some quick news. The Quest Update V72 is bringing hand tracking 2.3, pass-through keyboards, cutouts, and more. This new hand tracking is meant to improve the stability and accuracy and lower latency of your finger tracking, hand tracking. It looks like they've improved on that IK skeletal structure, and looking at this footage here, you can see how much more accurate it is. It doesn't jitter as much. It's much faster, much more reliable. That's cool. And now the pass-through cutout for the keyboard. Now previously, you had to have a specific keyboard to track inside of VR, and it made it difficult to nail one down. You had to buy this specific device, pair it to your headset with Bluetooth, but now it will look for any keyboard looking object, whether it's connected or not, and when your hands get near that keyboard, it'll show a pass-through cutout outlining that keyboard. So it's not even like this gap, this window that kind of reveals your keyboard in a portion of the desk. It's trying to cut out precisely where your keyboard is. So ideally, you'd have kind of a floating keyboard in your vision. That's going to make things much easier. I can't wait for that. And you can see here, it puts a white outline around the keyboard, so it's always there, but it's not in your face. It's saying, hey, your keyboard is right here in this small space. And then when you approach it, it opens up and your hands become visible. And Quest 3 is bringing seamless Windows 11 integration as an experimental feature, and it's now available via V72, which is rolling out. It may not come to you right away. They do these slow rollouts, and it says the feature announced at MetaConnect 2024 lets Quest 3 and 3S owners connect to and mirror their Windows 11 PC with a single tap after just looking at it. It's possible thanks to a partnership with Microsoft. Once connected, the PC's screen turns off and is replaced by a large virtual screen, and you can spawn virtual side screens for a total of 3 virtual monitors. But Meta and Microsoft's pitch with this new feature is that you don't need to launch an app at all. And when the feature exits beta, the mixed reality link app that you install on your PC to enable it will come built into Windows 11. And that's interesting. So it looks as if when you have your laptop or your monitor and the headset recognizes the shape of the screen, it's going to put an icon hovering above the keyboard, and it will always be there. And once you tap that icon, your screen will physically turn off on your computer, and in its place will come one monitor that you can scroll between 3. Now, I'm a huge fan of virtual desktop. It's all I use. I don't use MetaLink. I find it buggy and slow, and just it doesn't do what I want to do. I love virtual desktop. I'm not going to stop using it, but I will be quick to try this. I wonder how that integration is going to improve latency. And that's the thing. I don't think that from this app you're going to be able to launch VR games. I don't think that's going to happen. I'd be surprised if that happened. I think this is going to be more for workflow and browsing the web and watching Netflix on your computer. And so I imagine there's going to still be reason to maintain that connection with virtual desktop, because most of us, I think, would just as soon use virtual desktop, have that giant screen, type as we need to, do our work, and then with a click of a button, launch a game. What do you guys think? Let me know. And that was a lot. That's all I got. Thank you for being here. You guys have been watching Bringhurst VR. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Something like 70% of you are not subscribed, and you'd be doing me a huge favor if you did. I appreciate all of you. Godspeed.